Let me hit the live button on my computer here so I can see what questions you're asking and what's going on and all that good stuff. Okay. Oh, I'm seeing lots of people on today. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness, lots and lots of people. So hello everybody. I hope that you are having a great day so far. I hope you had a good weekend. It's been a really, really nice weekend here in North Carolina. I had a great, absolute great time this weekend, doing a lot of fun stuff. So it's been a really fun weekend. Got some rest, so it was quite nice. Hey Doreen, girl, you see my earrings? Y'all, Doreen, what she goes by Do 4x4 on here, she made my earrings. I love them. So, Catherine, thank you. I don't normally hardly ever wear this color, and I said, well, I'm going to give it a try. So, yes, looks like you guys had a great weekend as well. Yay. Oh, man. Oh, Phoenix hit 107 this week. Wow, that is crazy. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'll stay here in North Carolina. Okay, guys, what a fun day today. Okay, so a couple of things. I've had people asking about the garlic knot recipe. So I promise you, because it was so nice, I stayed outdoors all weekend, didn't do too much inside. So I will show you the recipe tomorrow. And also I posted over the weekend, I made some Cheddar Bay biscuits. So if you ever eat at Red Lobster, you know, they make those cheddar biscuits and they're so good. Well, this recipe tasted just like them. So I'm going to post that as well. Debbie says, hey Kelly, I have a question. How do I send a pic to you, I'm assuming to me, of one of my designs? So I'm going to type in really quick my email address, so that way if anybody else wants to ask something, you will be able to see it. Oh, and hey mama. So I'm going to post the Cheddar Bay recipe and the other recipe. The only way I can figure out that I can do it right now is to go ahead and post it in a blog post on my on my website, because not everybody has social media. So I'm going to post it on my blog on offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. I tried to do it earlier, but it was being very finicky. So I just said, okay, whatever. We're not going to fight today. Me and the computer, because the computer always wins. So we're going to have fun today. This is going to be a long one today, so if you will bear with me. Oh, good. Jason is here. Yay. Jason is back today. Jason is going to be here helping answer any questions that I've already answered for you guys, or questions that are being asked repeatedly. Also, guys, please, please, please do me a huge favor. And if somebody jumps on in the middle or near the end and they're asking about the pattern, please let them know they can get the pattern on my website. That way you guys will not have to hear it a million times and I won't have to say it a million times. So today, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be working through an old pattern that I did a couple of years ago. This is, let's see. Okay, Brenda Petty, you need to call me between 3:30 and 4 o'clock this afternoon, and I will help you. Okay, so we're going to be doing an old pattern that I did a few years ago called the Paisley Drop Pendant. Now, I did the Paisley Drop earrings and the Paisley Drop Pendant. The pattern can be found on my website at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. It's not a free pattern. It's a $4 pattern, okay? In the original pattern, I used Zoli Duos. Now, a Zoli Duo had a flat bottom and a domed top. They're beautiful. The only problem with a Zoli Duo is you have to have a left bead and a right bead. Okay, so you have to have two different kinds of beads. I also used what was called an Ava bead, and it is like a chevron or a triangle, but it's a very, very deep triangle, chevron, whatever you want to call it. I no longer carry either one of those beads. So I wanted to see, will it work if we use a chevron bead, which is a bead like this, and will it work if we use a 2-hole paisley? So the difference between the Zoli and the Paisley is the Paisley Duo, again, flat bottom, rounded top. You have to have a left and you have to have a right. The 2-hole Paisleys, they are flat on both sides. And so you can flip it so you don't have to have a left and a right. Now, I can tell you this, it may be that as we start working, it's not going to work out whatsoever, and I will probably just cry. Who knows? I'm hoping that it works out, but if it doesn't, we'll know. We may even come up with a completely different design. So you guys will get a look into the design process today, and you'll be good to go. Let's see really quick. Is it possible to glue a rivoli with hot glue? Oh, I don't suggest that. If you glue your rivoli with hot glue, that could take the foil backing off of it. So, okay. So, we'll go ahead and get started. So, here's what I'm using today. I'm not even ready, to be honest with you, for today. I've been on the phone all morning. I'm going to be using a 14 millimeter Crystal Gray Delight Rivoli. So it's called Crystal Gray, but it's more of like a white. I don't know why they call it Crystal Gray. Where did you buy your stone and crystal? Here in my store, off the Beaded Path, beadstore.com. Okay, so again, Crystal Gray Delight. My 2-hole cabochon is going to be matte metallic silver. Now, you can't use these for candy beads, okay? There's a version of these called candy beads. They won't work. You want to use the 2-hole cabochon. You are going to need a chevron bead, or I'm going to be using a chevron bead. I'm using bronze aluminum today. So bronze aluminum. You're going to need a size 11 Delica bead. I'm using white lined Teal AB, and the DB number is 1782. This is a Miyuki Delica. You don't want a regular seed bead. You want a Delica. Okay? You want a size 15 seed bead. These I like to use Miyuki, not Miyuki Delicas, just Miyuki seed beads. The Tohos won't hold it in as good, so that is why I'm using the Miyuki brand seed beads. No, there will not be a kit for this project because it's 3 years old. This is just people, trying to use up what they have at home. If you want, though, you could call my shop and I'd be happy to help you get materials together. Or again, Jason is being great about sharing links to the same products I'm using today. I'm using a Tropical Mint Paisley Duo. Okay. I am using a size 11 demi-round in transparent crystal. Okay, so let's talk about a demi-round. A demi-round is a size 11 seed bead that's chopped in half, basically. So you still get the same size circle. It's just instead of maybe my bead being this wide, it's only this wide. Okay, so it's half of that. So that is what I'm using today. You can use whatever kind of thread you want. I'm going to be using the white 1G thread. You can also use KO thread. You can use 6-pound fire line, but I would not go over a 6-pound fire line, okay? If you go over a 6-pound fire line, you won't be able to get through some of these beads and you're going to be really angry. I'm using a size 10 needle. You can use a 10 or a 12, and it may be that after I do a couple rounds, I find that I need to drop down to a 12. So you can kind of play and see what you're doing. So let me just double check really quickly the questions, see if there's any questions that I've not answered so far. I think we're good. I don't see any more questions. Thank you, Catherine Brooks. She said, best bead store ever. You know I love you, Catherine. Kathy Dorr said, it should work with the Paisley. My wonder is there room with the Eva and Ava to swap. Now, I will tell you, the Paisleys are just a little bit bigger than the Zolis. So hopefully it'll work and still look good. That's the thing. That's what we're going for. We want it to work and still look good. So again, I'm going to go step by step by the pattern. So if you want to purchase the pattern, thank you. Thank you for supporting me. You know, these videos are completely free to you. And so if you want to purchase the pattern, I greatly appreciate your support. If you don't want to purchase the pattern, then the video is free, so you can watch the video. So let me go ahead. I'm going to flip the camera around. Let me grab my water. It's over here under you guys, so hold on. Had to get my water, get it ready for today. Miss Lorraine Colby is here today. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, what if you don't have demis? Okay, if you don't have demis, you could also use a size 15 seed bead. The size 15 seed bead is gonna look a little bit different, but I think you'll still be okay. So if you don't have a demi, try a size 15 seed bead. My question is, rivoli, what do you suggest to avoid the coating from coming off? What I would suggest is that the whole back of your piece needs to be covered up. You can put clear fingernail polish. There's a couple other things that people put on the back of them, but the only way to kind of guarantee that your backing is not going to come off is to cover it up. And that's what we're going to do today. The backs of these rivolis are completely covered. And I wanted to show you, I have 3 different samples. Hello to everybody jumping in. Okay, so this is the first sample. This is the full piece. If you do the full complete thing, this is what you'll have. Okay, so you can see chevron top and the bottom, our Zolis, our 2-hole cabs, so you can kind of see where everything goes. So this is the full version. If you don't want to do the full version, let me see. What did I do different on this one? Oh, now I see what I did. Okay, I was trying to figure out what I did different on these. Okay, so full version. The next one, I did the 2-hole cab down here with my Zolis here. You can see up here, it's a 2-hole cab with no Zolis. Okay, so it is down here, but it's not up here. Okay, so that's another version. And then here is a third version. So the third version has no Zolis or Ava at the top. It only has it on the bottom. Okay, so again, no Ava or Zolis at the top, and it's here at the bottom. So there's 3 different versions. There's lots of ways that you can put variances on this project. So you'll kind of get to play with it and see which one you like the best. I originally did these as necklaces. I also have earrings to match these on the YouTube and on the Facebook. Will you have all 3 versions? They are basically all the same, just leaving out certain beads. So this is what it looked like, the original version. Love it, but just not sure. I think possibly, if it works out, we might end up doing this one as a bracelet. We're just gonna kind of have to play and see. So a couple of things before we jump in. Number 1 is that on Friday of last week, so that's what, May the 1st, I announced what I would be doing today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So if you go back to the May 1st video, you'll see right under the video, there's a little drop down arrow. So if you click on that arrow, it'll drop the box down, but it allows you to be able to see what we're doing today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and what materials you're gonna need if you want to kind of play along with me on these videos. That was May 1st video. The second thing I want to announce to you is we're going to do a giveaway this week. I'm going to be giving away 2 $20 store credits to my website. These can be used to purchase anything on my website. The great thing about the $20 credit, store credit, is that it can be open to anywhere in the world. This giveaway can be. So if you are in the UK, if you are in Zimbabwe, if you are in Australia, all of this is going to be available to you. So that's the great thing. So here's what you need to do. To be entered into the giveaway, I need you to, number 1, like this video or give me a thumbs up on this video. Number 2 is I need you to comment in the comments. So not in our chat section, but actually down under the video in the comment section. So for those of you who are watching the live, you'll have to do this, come back and do this. But I need you to comment below me and tell me what your favorite thing that I've done in our bead therapy sessions. So out of the 7 weeks worth of bead therapy, or 6 weeks worth of bead therapy videos, what's been your favorite project that we've done? And then the third thing is I need you to make sure you've hit that red button and you're a subscriber. This contest is open to subscribers. And so if you'll subscribe, if you'll like the video by giving it a thumbs up, and if you will post right below me so that you will be able to see what and tell me what your favorite thing in bead therapy that we've done. You have until May the 8th of 2020 to comment on this video and tell me that. And then on the video on May the 11th, I'm going to announce the 2 winners. They will be randomly picked out of the list. We'll put all the names into a generator and it will generate us 2 names and you will be able to go. So let's see. Oh gosh. Okay, so a couple of quick questions. Give me 1 second and let me see. Okay. On the copper colored, what is the rivoli? I can't tell if it's pink or coral. That is purple haze was the rivoli in the copper colored one. What color is the 15? The 15 that I'm using today, you can use nickel, you can use steel. This is a galvanized gray luster. I'm not really sure if we have any of this left down here, but that's the color I'm using today. And let's see, Catherine Brooks says, what did you say? KO, NYMO, whatever. It's completely up to you. You can use whatever. I'm going to be using 1G thread. You can use KO, NYMO, 6-pound fire line, whatever you would like to use. Okay, so I think we'll be good to go. And one more thing real quick. We've had a lot of calls this week of people who haven't received packages that they've ordered. Oh man, y'all, some states are taking a good while to get their packages right now. So packages that we normally, like if we ship it today and it's normally to you in 2 or 3 days, we have had some customers who it's taken 2 weeks to get to them if you're here in the United States. And it's not an off the beaten path issue. It's a postal service issue. It's just, you know, everybody's ordering packages. Everybody's behind. The postal service isn't working on a full capacity either. So just be aware that if you have something that you want to order from us, guys, and you need it pretty quickly, you may want to order priority mail shipping. Just because it'll get to you faster than a regular mail normally would. So I just wanted you to be aware of that, because we've had a couple of customers who've contacted us multiple times, but that's what it is. It's just the mail system is slow right now. And I praise and thank the mail system because they're doing all they can for us. But, you know, it kind of bites if you're you know, wanting to place an order and it's taking forever to get here, because believe me, I've been waiting on some cabochons for 2 weeks and I'm like, I want my cabochons. So okay, let's roll, let's play. I'm going to switch the camera around. This is probably going to be a longer video today, so at some point I'm sure I'll have to plug up my phone, but hopefully we will be good to go and everything will be well. So let me flip the camera around. If you get motion sickness, please look away for just a minute. Okay. Yes, the 2-hole cabochons that I carry are all the 7mm. So it will be what you need for this project. Oh, Devin, patience is a virtue. Oh, yes, but you know how we are with our beads. Some of us just don't have that when it comes to our beads. And I'm one of them. Ugh. I'm patient in other things in life, but I don't feel like it with my beads. Okay, and just remember, you guys, don't comment on the chat. Make sure to comment on the comment. So you'll have to come back to the video to actually post your comment. Okay, let me see here, because this is, give me 1 second. I'm trying to keep my camera in here for some reason. It's sliding today. Hopefully we'll be good to go and y'all won't fall off the little thing here. Okay. All right, so I am going to kind of lay everything out. First thing I'm going to do, keep a clean bead tray. First thing we're only going to be using are our delicate beads and our 15s. I always suggest, if you're doing an encasement, my Yukis work better if you're doing peyote. Tohos will work as well. They just don't work as good, okay? So just be aware of that. So I have my 11 delica here, and I got my 15s here. So let me rip a little piece of paper here and write that down so people who jump in late will know. That's my 11-0. And my 15-0. As we work. Okay, so let's start. Number 1, thread a needle onto one end of a 2.5 yard piece of thread. Thread on 36 11-0 delicate beads and let these beads fall. Leaving a short tail, go back through all 36 beads once more and pull them into a circle. Go through the first bead threaded on. So I've got my needle threaded. You want 2.5 yards. And again, you won't have a comment section until after the video is completed. Okay, guys? So you'll have to come back to the video to actually put a comment, not in the chat section, but in the comment section. And that is after the video is complete. So I'm going to thread on 36 11-0s. So that's these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay. Yes, Catherine. Okay, Deborah Gibson says, do you like looming? Yes, I do like looming. It's fun. The hardest thing with looming and doing videos on it is everybody has their own opinion in what type of loom they like the best or which one is the best. So it's kind of hard when not everybody's using the same loom. Okay, even though I counted these and I spoke them as I counted them, I'm going to double check them again. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. Okay, it's better to go ahead, take the time to double count than to get on the next go round, I guess you should say, and something mess up. Okay, so now this is my little short tail, and I'm only leaving, hold on guys, let me grab this so you can see about how much tail I'm leaving. Okay, so I'm only going to leave about 3 inches of tail thread. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to come back up through all beads again. If you can't get through all 36 at one time, that's fine. Just slide through, pull through what you can. Okay, Lois, she says, do you have a trick to know how many beads to use for different sizes of rivolis? So, Lois, one way is if you'll go to Google and you'll just Google search how many delicas go around a rivoli, you will be amazed at how many awesome, helpful charts there are out there that are completely for free that will tell you that. Oh, I see Joy Jefferson. Hey, girl. Yes, Nancy says that she would count out her beads before she put them on, and that's always an option as well. So I have went through them again, and I have went through the first bead threaded on. So I have my tail thread on this side, and I have my working thread on this side. And if you'll give me 1 minute, guys, I'll show you something else. Let me think about where that's at. Let me think about where it's at, and then I'll show it to you hopefully at the end of the video, because it may take me a minute to find it. So we've completed number 1. Number 2, working in peyote stitch, thread on 1 delicate, skip 1, and go through the next one. Repeat this 17 more times. Okay, so if you want to, you can go ahead and you can count out 18 delicate beads, or you can just start working. So if you are somebody who kind of gets, you know, has a hard time with your peyote stitch and keeping things straight, this peyote fits perfectly over a seed bead tube. Okay? So if you want to use a regular size seed bead tube, you can do that, or you can just work with it off the tube. I'm actually going to work with it on the tube because I'm hoping maybe you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But I'm going to pick up 1 bead. I am coming out of this bead here. I'm going to skip 1 bead, and then I'm going to go through the next bead. Okay, so I'm coming out of a bead, I'm going to skip a bead, and I'm going to go through the next bead. And I'm going to pull this through. And when you pull it through, your beads should sit. Okay, there we go. Oh, Lord. About said a really bad word there. Okay. Pick up another delicate. I'm coming out of this delicate. I'm going to skip a delicate, and I'm going to go through the next delicate bead. So we are working an even count peyote stitch. Pick up 1 bead, I'm coming out of 1, I'm going to skip 1, and I'm going to go through the next bead. Okay, can somebody do me a favor and answer Michelle about the size rivoli? All right, so I pick up 1, I skip 1, and I go through 1. Okay, so I pick up 1, I skip 1, and I go through 1. Okay, so you can see now, I have kind of like this, this is how it's starting to look, kind of like a zipper type thing. Okay. Skip 1, go through 1. Okay, so unfortunately, I see where somebody asked, is there any way to, know that you're not piercing your threads? The threads that are going to be the least resistance to being pierced are going to be your fire line and like your wildfire. Those are least pierce resistant. Any other thread type thing you use, like your Nymo, your 1G, anything like that can be pierced. There's not really a trick or a way to guarantee that you're not piercing a thread. I would say if you make a mistake, you have to take the mistake out. Never use your needle to try to weave back through. Take your needle off and pull the thread out itself. So even if you do make a mistake, and you do pierce your thread, I'm sorry, shouldn't say a mistake. If you pierce your thread, what will happen is when you pull the thread out, hopefully it won't shred and everything like that. So that would be what I would say there. Hello to everybody jumping in. If you're just now jumping in, it's okay. Please just hang out with us and watch us work on this project together. Thankfully, we've got the awesome replay, so as soon as this video is finished and complete, it'll upload onto YouTube. There is a great giveaway that I'm doing this week, so for info on that giveaway, I'll say it again at the end of the video, but also definitely check out the beginning of the video, because I promise you, you'll want to enter the giveaway for this week. Okay, I'm getting back to where I was here. We're getting to that dreaded step up that some people have a really hard time with. This is the step up. One of the things I tell people is if you have a hard time with the step up, you know, like in the beginning, I said that we're going to add 1 delicate and then we're going to repeat this 17 more times. So you could go ahead and you could lay out your 18 beads so you'll know when you get to the end of it. So I'm coming out of this bead. I'm going to skip this bead and I have to go through the next bead. Some people get really confused about this part and they try to go up to this bead or to this bead. You don't want to do that. We have to finish out the row first. So to finish out the row, I'm coming out here, I skip this bead and I come through the next bead. So I'm going to go through the bead. Okay. Then once I've gone through the bead, then I'm going to quote unquote step up by going through the bead right up from where it's at. So this is the first one that I threaded on in the row. I could work down here if I wanted to, but I'm trying to work with the beads that I added on this last row. So I will go through those beads and I'll pull that on through. So now you should have a pretty little zipper. All right, so, and this was step 3. When you get to the end of the row, step up by going through the first bead added in the round, which we did. Yay, we're on tight. Good job. Okay, thread on 115 and go through the next 11 O's sticking up. Repeat this all the way around, pulling taut. So we're going to put in 15s on this row. So that's going to be these little guys right here. So to do that, literally all I'm going to do is pick up 115. I'm coming out of this delicate sticking up, and I'm going to go through the next one sticking up. Oh, Dolly, I'm sorry, sweetie. It's slow everywhere right now as far as shipping. And like I said, the mail service is doing all they can, but oh man, it makes you want to get your packages. Believe me, I know. Hello from Singapore. Hello from Germany. So see, we're just popping in a bead there. Now I'm actually going to slide this off of my piece. I know, right, Jason? Oh God, y'all, I'm sorry. My hand is cramping up terribly today. I don't know what the deal is. So I am coming out of this bead here, and I'm just going to continue. Now I took it off the little dowel, or my little tube here. I took it off because you really want this row to start cupping inward. So let me kind of hold it up like this. You can see how it's starting to kind of cup inward, and that's what you want. So if you leave it on your dowel or whatever you're working around it, it'll actually kind of deter you a little bit. Jan, thank you. I will definitely do that. I know part of it is we got out over the weekend. My mom and dad gave me a horseshoe set for my birthday, and so we built our horseshoe pits and got all of that together, and it was, so my hands weren't used to hitting in them big 5-inch nails that we used to drive our 4x4s in, or whatever you call them things, 4x4, 4x6, I don't know what they're called. Let's see. Hello from Israel. Hello. Pickle juice. I've never heard that. That's pretty awesome, though. I can dig some pickle juice. Well, I can dig the pickles. I don't know about the pickle juice. I don't know if any of you tried Sonic last year, had a pickle juice slushy. And my son thought that was the best thing. And oh, it just kind of puckered my mouth. It definitely tasted like pickle juice, though. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. I was bound and determined, for those of you who don't know, last week was just a really hard week for me. So I made a goal for every day in May to do something, and I wrote it down. And so yesterday's was to get up and actually get ready for church. For the last 6 weeks, I have been sitting in front of the TV watching church service on my couch with my PJs on. So I said, nope, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get ready for church, just like I would be going. Okay, so you can see here, I've got this right now. It's looking a little wonky, and that's okay. We're going to fix it. No biggie. So I'm here. I'm going to do my last little bead here. So I'm going to pop that bead in. Now, I'm not going to step up just yet. I'm just going to finish out the row because I have not done this project since 2017, and I'm going to go step by step through the, okay, everybody, let's all be nice. Let's all be nice. We can chat and have fun. Okay, number 5. Once you have finished the row, step up by going through the first 15 threaded on in the round. So I ended the round here, and now I'm going to step up by going through this bead here. Step 6, thread on 115 and go through the next 15 sticking up. Repeat this all the way around and pull taut. So I am adding my 15, and then I am going to go all the way around, putting in a 15 in between my 15. So we're doing another row. So I pick up a 15. Okay, first I have to step up. So I'm coming out of my 11. So I step up. So I'm going to go through my 15. That's the first 15 I threaded on in the round. Then I'm going to pick up 115, and I'm going to go through the next 15 sticking up. Okay, and I'm going to do this all the way around. Okay, so we're just picking up a 15 and going through the next 15. What this is going to do, we're building an encasement for our rivoli, so that way our rivoli doesn't fall out. Now, I designed this one specifically for a 14 millimeter rivoli. If you don't have a 14 millimeter rivoli, you can always do a smaller size or a bigger size. You'll just have to kind of adjust the pattern a little bit, and that's okay. So you can see now how the piece has really cupped up like I want it to. Don't press it flat. So many beaders that I see in my store, they press it flat as they work. You don't want to press it flat. You want to just kind of hold it around the edges and let it naturally do what it needs to do. You want to get this nice cup tension. Now, I will tell you, I am a very tight beader. So for me, when I do these encasements, I use 1G or KO thread. If I use a 6-pound fire line, at this point, the piece would be so tight and so wonky, it would look terrible. And really, even if I stuck the rivoli in, there would be no helping it to make it look better. Do you need to work on rivolis if you don't use delicas? You can definitely encase rivolis without delica beads. You know, there's different ways of encasements that you can do. this specific like peyote encasement works really well with delicate beads. If you use a regular size 11 seed bead, it's going to make the encasement bigger. So you would need to kind of just play around, and I will show you guys how to do that if you've never, if you're going to try to use a different type of bead to encase something. But let me get this one encased, and then I'll show you a quick little thing. Does the first threaded on matter, or just the 15 above the 11O you came out? I panic a little bit trying to remember the first one. Okay, wait a minute. Does the first threaded on matter, or just the 15 above the 11 you came out work? Deborah, I'm not 100% understanding your question. I think maybe it auto-corrected a little bit. You always want to finish out your row. So here, I've got my bead here. Oh, step up. Okay, I've got my bead here. We're fixing to do a step up here, Deborah, so you'll see. Got my bead. I'm going to finish the row, so I'm going to go through just this bead first. Now, if it was me, what I would do, because I know that I'm to my step up, I would go ahead and go through both of these beads at one time. Okay, so that would finish my row and do my step up. But for the sake of the pattern, and for the sake of the people who don't know how to do encasements and they're watching this for the first time, you got to finish out your row. So you have to go through this bead. If you try to go through this bead up here, it's going to throw it off. You're going to see it. It's going to look wonky, and you're going to say, what in the world did I do? And you'll know that you have messed it up some way, some shape, somehow. Okay, so I'm not going to step up yet because I'm going to look at my pattern and see what my pattern tells me. So at this point, I have a piece that looks like this. Okay, so 7. Once you have finished the row, stitch through the beads to exit an up 11O on the back side of the encasement. So I'm going to stitch through so that instead of coming out here on the front side where I have the 15s, I'm going to be coming out on the back side. So I'm coming out of this 15 here, and I'm just going to stitch through the next 3 11s at this diagonal. It doesn't matter which one you come out of. You just want to come out to any of the ones that are sticking up around that piece. So if you can do all 3 at once, or you can do 2, whatever, but you just want to get there without seeing your thread. So I'm going to come out on what I'm going to call the back side of the piece now. So that was step 7. Step 8, thread on 115 and go through the next 11 sticking up. Do this all the way around, but do not pull taut. Okay, once you finish the row, step up by going through the first 15 added in the round. Yes, you definitely need to go all the way around, Deborah. And Deborah Gibson, one of the things that you can do is, like I said, you can lay out the amount of beads that you should have for the row. And that way, when you run out of beads, you know you're to that step up and you have to do that step up. So now I'm going to do what step 8 told me. So I'm going to thread on a 15 and go through the next delica. And I'm going to do this all the way around. And again, I'm not going to pull tight. I'm basically just going to stick it in there, not pulling it tight. So on this one, Deborah, you can count your spaces. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So, Deborah, you could lay out 18 beads before you start the row. So that way, when you pick up that 18th bead, you know you're there and you need to do your step up. And it's going to depend, you know, that's going to change each time, because sometimes, you know, you might be doing an 18 or 27 millimeter rivoli, and it's going to be different. But if you'll just kind of check those open holes, it'll tell you how many you need to put in. And that's always a good thing for people who have a problem with the step up. Once you learn the step up and you're able to see it, it's like riding a bicycle. You never forget it. Unless you never learned how to ride the bicycle. Joy, are you using one of them little fancy hair things that you use? Y'all, my friend Joy, if you're not friend with Joy Jefferson, you need to be. She cracks me up. She does these awesome makeup videos, like makeup tutorials on Facebook. So awesome. But she also does one with all these cool things with her hair. Well, her hair is down past her shoulders. She used this thing called a bubble wand the other day to make her hair look like these excellent waves. It was just so pretty. And I was like, girl, I can't use that on my hair. I hardly have any to use it on. But it was cool. So if you're not friends with Joy Jefferson on Facebook, you need to be, because she does some awesome makeup tutorials. So that way, when you do go back out town, you will be looking sharp to go out town. Okay, Mary Brower says, so if I couldn't fit my ring of delicas around the tube, I guess I stitched too tight and need to use 1G. I would probably say so. Yes, Mary. Okay, Deborah, so I had, you know, this is my 18th bead. So now I'm ready to do that step up. So I am coming out of this delica. I'm going to go through the next delica. So if I go up here, it's not going to look right. You have to go through the delica and then through the 15. So I go through the last bead of the row and then do my little step up there. So that now it looks like a little tiny cup or a little tiny saucer, a little tiny UFO. Okay, so we did 9. Okay, let me go to the next page. 10, lay your rivoli in face down. So we want to see the foil. And once you lay it down in there, then thread on 115 and go through the next 15 sticking up. Repeat this all the way around, pull, taut. Once you finish the row, step up by going through the first 15 added in this round. So we're going to knock out 10, 11, and 12 real quick. So let me find my rivoli and my little stash of beads here. Oh, Deborah, I am so glad you were friends with Joy on the Facebook. Okay, so I've got my pretty crystal here. I want to see the backing. So normally it's a foil backing. Swarovski's new things have these funky different backings. So can you greet Rudy? Can you greet Rudy? Rudy, hello. How are you today? I hope that you are having an awesome day. All right, so when I put it in there, it's a little loose. It's going to be so pretty though. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to hold it in place. And now I'm going to work my round. I'm going to pick up a 15 and I'm going to go through the next 15 sticking up. And when I do this round, I'm going to pull it tight. And you can see already how they're laying down over the back of the rivoli. And that's what we want. Catherine Brooks said hers is gorgeous already. Oh, do you think I'm making this one for you, Catherine? Or are you actually beading with me? Hey, everybody jumping in. We are making the Paisley drop pendant today. This is an old video as well. I did this video originally in 2007. Okay, why do I cover up so much of the rivoli? Well, we're not really covering up too much of the front. And we want to cover the back so that way the foil backing or our color backing will not come off. Somebody who has a lot of oils in their skin and a lot of acidity in their skin. Man, I can't talk today. The foil backing can come off. And even if you're making a ring, a pendant, whatever, it can come off. So that's why we're covering up a lot of the back. This is so much better than you guiding. It's all about the tension, isn't it? Yes, it is all about the tension. So the thing is, with the tension, I am a super tight beader, and I know we've talked about this in the video a little while earlier, but I'm a super tight beater. So this is why I'm using the 1G thread, because if I try to make an encasement with Fireline, the encasement is going to be, it's going to be worse than a hot mess. It is going to be a natural disaster. It's going to be bad. So that is why I use the 1G. If you are a very loose stitcher, you may want to use the 6-pound Fireline because it will allow you to get a tighter encasement to what you're working on. So it's just going to kind of depend. And if you've never done it before and you have some different threads, try both. Okay. Katarina's here today. Oh, you're going to bed with the boys tonight. Oh, I understand. All right, so I'm almost back around. And same thing, Deborah Gibson, if, you know, I'm coming back around here. And I've got to go through the last bead on my row. So that's my 18th bead. So I've got to go through the last bead here. And then I can step up through the first bead in the round. So I'm going to be going through these 2 beads here. So Flashy Jackie 1 says, I've used clear nail polish to cover the back of my rivoli to protect it when I've helped them before. Is there something you would recommend? No, honestly, I've seen people who use like a UV epoxy. Some people have even put like E6000 glues, different things like that. I don't cover up the back of my rivolis with anything normally other than, oops, sorry guys. Don't cover them up with anything other than beads. And all I'm doing right now, guys, is I am grabbing a hold here at the top and I'm just pulling the thread down, straight down with my fingers. I've got my fingers kind of pinching this together and I'm pulling this, and you see how much it's flipping around. That's letting any twistiness that's going on in my thread, it's letting that twistiness out. Man, I can't talk today. Would clear nail polish stop the foil from coming off? The only thing with the clear nail polish, you would have to reapply after so long because nothing is going to be permanent really, so you would have to kind of cover that up. I wonder if I think you mean Mod Podge would work. Hey, you can definitely try the Mod Podge. You just, never know what's going to work. Okay, once you finish the row, step up by going through the first 15 in this round, which we've done, so ours looks just like this. 13, thread on 7 15s, skip 1 15 sticking up, and go through the next 15 sticking up. So I have my 7. I'm going to stick, I feel like I need to start all over today. I'm going to skip 1 15, and I'm going to go through the next 15 sticking up. So I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so I'm coming out of the bead where I did the step up. I'm going to skip the next bead sticking up, and I'm going to go through the next one. So basically, I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3. So I'm skipping 3, and I'm going to go through the 4th bead. So 1, 2, 3, and go through the 4th. So that's the bead I'm going to be going through right there. And I'm going to pull it through. Now, when I pull it through, you want to lay it down over the back of the rivoli. It's going to stick up, and that's okay. If you kind of lay it down, you'll be able to see what's happening there. $14. Go through the next lower 15 and upper 15. So what that means, I'm out right here. I'm going to go through the lower and then the next upper. So I'm going to go through the next 15. That's the lower one here. And then I'm going to go through the next upper. So I'm going through 2 beads. So 1 and 2. So this is where I'm coming out now. Now step 15 says repeat steps 13 and 14 around the ring. So I'm going to pick up 7 15s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm coming out here. I'm going to skip 1 bead sticking up, and I'm going to go through the next bead sticking up here along the back side. And when I pull it, it should give me another little A shape. And it does. Okay, and if your feet, like if they're wonky, it's okay. We're gonna fix that. Don't worry. Don't stress your little pretty heads about it. We're gonna fix it, I promise. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through the next 2 beads. So it's a lower bead and an upper bead. So through 1 and 2. Now we're back to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am going to skip 1 sticking up, and I'm going to go through the next one sticking up, which is going to be this bead over here. And you want to be really good about keeping, making sure you're going through the beads you're supposed to be doing, because if not, when you get back all the way around, you're going to have a hot mess. You're going to be on the hot mess express. So now we're going to go through these 2 beads right here. So a lower and an upper, and if you can do it both at one time, that makes your life a little better. Since this is the back of the rivoli, is there a finish on the seed bead to avoid? No. Not that I can think of, Deborah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, I'm coming out here. I'm going to skip the next one sticking up, and then I'm going to go through the next one. Y'all, I remember when I came up with this piece, I cannot tell you how many times I ripped out and redid the back of this encasement, trying to come up with a fun way and a pretty way to cover up the back. Okay, so 7. Oh, okay, Deborah. She's saying an 11-0 finish that won't come off. Okay, so here's the thing. What I do on mine, Deborah, is I don't really worry too much about the back of my piece as far as the bead finish coming off, because it's the back, and if somebody's getting close to me to look at the back of my piece, then we got a problem. But if you want a finish that's not going to come off, you would definitely want to make sure it's like a Duracoat finish seed bead, a perma finish seed bead, or a seed bead that is an opaque color, and not like metal or something like that. All right, and I got to pour me out a few more 15s here. I think, Deborah, the worst thing that would happen if, I wore a piece and say I'm going to use a metallic pink 15 or something like that. I think the worst it would do is, if you're not careful, it would rub off on your shirt or something like that. But, normally it's the back. It's all right. It's the same thing with a ring. If I was going to use this backing for a ring, I really wouldn't worry about the finish of the back of it. as far as the coating coming off. Okay, of the seed beads. So I'm here. I'm to my last little arc or arch or peacoat or whatever we want to call it. So I skipped the one sticking up, and I'm going to go through the next one. Okay, so that now, if all of them would lay down nicely and play nicely together, you could see them. But they're not wanting to play nicely. I guess they're social distancing themselves as well, but that's okay. Okay, step 16. And let me get my light a little bit brighter here. Step up by stitching through the beads and exiting the fourth 15 added in the first set of 7. So I've got my 7 beads in my arc, and I'm going to go through the fourth bead. So I've got to go through 4 of them to get there. Thread on 115 and go through the middle bead of the next set of 7 and repeat around the ring. So let's do that. So I am coming out here. So I've got to, you know, kind of do the next step, which is go through the next 2 beads. So I'm going to go through the lower bead and the upper bead. And then I have to go through 4 beads of the 7 that I added in this little arc of beads. So I have to go through 4. So 1, let's see, let me get it through. And it's going to be a little tight to get it through, but you want to go through 4 beads of the 7. So I'm coming out of the point. I'm going to pick up 115, and I'm going to come through the middle bead of the next point. So I'm going through that 4th bead there, the middle bead. And look, and just like that. Okay. So for those of you who are coming in late, it's completely okay. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's just laying funky. So for those of you who are coming in late, it's completely okay. We're working on the Paisley, or no, what did I even call this thing? Lord, my brain is all messed up today. We're working on a pendant. We're working on a pendant, and yes, I do have an original video for this one. I think Jason has already posted the link to the older video, so you can swipe up through the chats to find the link. But this is also, once we get done with the live video, this will be uploaded to YouTube, and you can come back and watch the replay. So no problem. Okay, so I got to pick up one more 15 here and go through the one that I started with on this first little section. Paisley drop. Thank you, thank you. So now, look at that. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these beads right here in the center one more time. The pattern doesn't tell me to do that, but I know I am like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reinforce it one more time. And then before I go any further, I'm going to take another needle and I'm going to get rid of that little tail thread that I've got sticking out. It's driving me crazy. So we're going to get rid of it. So in this, we got party in the front and party in the back because it's pretty. Look at that. So this one is Crystal Gray Delight again, and it's kind of funky because even no matter what bead you put it with, what like bead you put around it, I guess I should say, it's going to look different no matter what bead color you put with it. So like with this blue color, it looks like it's pulling a little yellow, you know, so different color seed beads, it's going to pull different things. And that's what I love about it. Now I'm just taking this little tail thread and I just stitched it through a few more beads. And now I'm going to get rid of that thread, just that little bitty tail thread. So it's not in my way and I can continue on with my piece. So front and back so far. Oh, it does tell me, look at that. 18, go through the center circle of beads once more, and then stitch through the beads to exit a single bead delicate row along the outer edge of the encasement. So what this means is right now I have a row of 2 and a single bead, a row of 2, a single bead, a row of 2. We want to be coming out of any of these rows that have a single delicate in it. Okay. So I'm going to flip this around. So to get there, I'm going to come through the rest of the arc of 7 there. And then I'm going to come through my 15s here. And I could have went the other way. It doesn't matter which way you go. And then I'll stitch through my delicate. So again, you can see, let me pull this on through so I can use my needle as a pointer here. So you can see I have single row, a double row, a single row, a double row. You want to come out of a single row right there. Okay. Thread on 4 Zoli Duo beads. Thread on 2 rights and 2 lefts facing opposite directions. So basically, this is where we're going to try our Paisleys. So if you're using a Zoli, that's what you're going to do. But we're using our Paisley beads. So let me pull a few of these out. And again, because these are flat on both sides. Oh, that poor one's going to have to go to the bead graveyard. I can't use it. So I've got 2 beads. Okay, when will you get your out of stock items again? I wish I could tell you, Sonia. Honestly, I am so frustrated with one of my companies right now. I have been waiting on an order for them for almost 3 weeks, and I called to find out where where they are at with the shipping, because it still hasn't even been shipped out, and I have yet to hear from them. I did get an order in today with some items. I don't know what's in the boxes. When we get done with this video, I'm going to check it out, but honestly don't know. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have 4 beads here. 2 you can see here that are going to be in this direction, and 2 that are going to be in the other direction. So I'm going to lay them out. Now, with them laid out, go ahead and test your holes. Nothing's worse than putting these beads on and then realizing, whoops, we have a plugged hole. So test both of the holes. And the Paisley Duos are kind of nice because you can pretty much look through the holes to see if you're missing anything. Okay, thread on 2 rights and 2 lefts facing opposite directions. So we don't have to worry about a right and a left, but here's the thing. Now I think, see, on this one, my thread was coming out this direction. In this one, I've got it coming out the other direction. So in the original pattern, I would have picked it up here and worked this way. This time, I've got to pick them up here and work this way. And I'm going to pick it up through the top hole, through the hole there at the top. So not the bottom. This is the bottom here, or what we're going to call the bottom. And now I have to thread these on the opposite way. Okay, so if I do it like this, it's going to be the same. I've got to flip them around so that they're the opposite direction. Okay, so they're going to look just like this. Now, if you are doing it in the other direction, they're going to look like this. Okay? Skip 1 single delicate row and go through the next single bead delicate row. So I don't know if this is going to work because we're using a different bead, but we sure are going to try. So I'm coming out of a single bead delicate row. I'm going to skip a single bead delicate row, and I'm going to go through the next single bead delicate row. So I'm going to go through this one over here. And let's see. Okay, it's a little tight, little tight there. Okay, I don't know if I'm loving this as much. The Zolis, let me go to the next step. Okay, Catherine, give me 1 second. So again, Catherine, if I am coming out this direction, I pick up my beads, top holes here, 2 and 2, skip 1 single bead delicate row and go through the next single bead delicate row so that they're gonna look like this. Could you use kite beads? Honestly, I don't know, Judith. I really honestly have never tried kites for this one, so I might have to give that one a whirl and see. But you see, these fit nicely together here. And honestly, oh wait, I see. Okay. Let me look here. Okay, I'm not gonna make any adjustments yet. I'm gonna leave this be and we'll go on to the next step. If I do the next step and I don't like how it is, then I'm gonna make some adjustments. Stitch through the beads to exit the next single bead delicate row. Okay, so that means from where I'm at here, I'm going to stitch through my beads to come out of the next single bead delicate row. So I've got to go through either this bead or this bead and this bead. Okay, so this one and this one. Okay, so that I'm coming out of the next single bead delicate row there. And again, this is where, like I said, I'm going to do this next step and see if I like it. If not, then I will take my needle off and pull the thread out. Okay, so we got it like this. So let's see what the next one tells us. Go through the outer hole of the Zoli Duo right next to where your thread is exiting. Thread on 1 demi round and go through the outside hole of the next Zoli. You can also use a size 15 seed bead, but they don't look as good as the demi rounds when added. So when we use the Zolis and we pop that one little bead in there, see, it looks good. But we gonna see what happens here. So the first thing it tells me is to go through the outer hole of the next Paisley. So I'm gonna do that. Now, the first thing I can tell you is I don't like it because I can see my thread right here. So I'm gonna back out and I'm actually gonna put a demi round right here. If I was doing a Zoli, I wouldn't have to do this, but oh heavens, I should have not even picked that. I don't like that. Can't hardly see them on that white mat. Oh, this white mat's gonna be the death of me. Okay, so I've got my little demi, so now I'm gonna go through that hole and see what I like it. Okay, I like that a little better. Not sure if I love it as much, so I'm gonna pull back out of it. And this is all part of the process, guys. 90% of the time when I design something, it's just basically popping beads in place, and if I love them, I do it. If not, I go on to something else. Okay, so I'm loving how the 15 worked here. So I'm popping in a size 15 seed bead and then coming through. Now it tells me I should do a demi. So I can already tell you that demi is gonna look funky. Okay, so if I put in the demi, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna pop it in there, and I'm not loving it. Not loving it at all. It's got a little bit of space here. I think partly the color, it's partly the color that I don't like, but I'm gonna try to put another 15 in here and see what I like, see if I like it. If not, I can change it. Okay, I'm kind of digging that 15 in there. Okay, so now step, what does my next step tell me? Where am I at? Okay, step 24, thread on 1 demi, the top hole of the 2-hole cabochon, and 1 demi. Go through the outside hole of the next Zoli. So I'm going to use my 2-hole cab. And again, it's a 2-hole cab because it has 2 holes, top hole and a bottom hole. And again, check your holes. So I'm going to do a demi, the top hole of my 2-hole cab, and a demi. And then I'm going to come through the open hole here of this next bead. I'm going to check it out and see what I think. Okay, that worked. That worked. So we're going to roll with that. Okay, but now I can already tell you, I don't like this because I can see the thread. Do you see the thread right there? I don't like that. So here's what I'm going to do. This is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this back out and I'm going to put a size 15 seed bead right here because I don't like that I can see that thread. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the needle off. So my needle is off. Now I'm going to grab a hold of these and pull this out. Okay, if you can't grab a hold of that little 15, you can grab it, or you can use, if you have a tulip dowel, you can use it as well, or an awl. Okay, so I think Renee is asking, what is the difference between a glass bead and a Swarovski bead? So a glass bead is just that. It can be a druck bead, which is a solid round bead. It can be a fire polish bead. It can be a lot of things, but it's glass, and a lot of times it's less expensive. A Swarovski bead is a crystal bead. It's a lot more, it's beautiful. Let's just put it that way. Very, very high quality. Okay, so I've got these 2 beads on here. I'm going to pop a 15 in, and then I'm going to put in the next 2. And now I'm going to try it again and see if I like it. Yep. See how that 15 covers it up now? I like that much, much, much better. What color are the Paisleys? They are, have no idea. I threw the tag away. If you will scroll back up into the chat section, sweetie, there is a list that Jason has posted the links to. Oh, and look at this hot mess, you guys. Oh, my heavens. Oh. Okay, maybe there we go. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pick up my 15 and go through the outer hole here. I'm basically going to get back to where I was. A 15 and go through the next one. And you'll see that when I hold this one up to the Zoli, it's going to give it a completely different look. It's going to look similar, but different at the same time. Then I'm going to do 15 and go through the next one here. Okay. Now I'm going to do a 15, and this is where I want to show you the picture so we can make sure we're good to go. Okay, so we did here, thread on 1 demi and go through the outside hole of the next Zoli. Okay, so you can see here, look at the difference we've got there, guys. We did not use our demis except for down there next to the 2-hole cabs. So it gives it a little bit of a different look, and that's completely fine. That's all part of learning. Okay, 26. Go through the single delicate bead row right up from where your thread is exiting the Zoli, with the needle pointing towards the beads added. So if this is my Zoli hole or my Paisley, the single bead delicate row, I'm going to go through it, but I'm going to go towards the bead work that I've already got in there. And it says, stitch through the outer holes of the Zoli Duos and the demi rounds to exit the 2-hole cab just added. So basically what that means is I'm going to stitch all the way back around to come out of the bottom hole of this bead. So let's do that. So I've got to pick up my 15. This is not like the pattern. Remember, we changed it a little bit differently here. Okay, so I'm coming out of the Paisley here. If I come up here, that's going to be way too far. So I have to come right here, and I'm going to go, remember, back through the bead towards what I've already completed. Okay, so that when I pull it, now those beads are popped into place. So now I have to stitch up and down through the delicate beads to come out over here, and then we're going to go through the beads to come out of the top hole of this bead here. Okay, so, and if you get into your 15s, that's okay. You can stitch up through the 11s and then the 15s, whatever you find easiest for you. And for those of you who are hearing a lot of kind of noise in the background, Sammy is working on packaging and shipping out orders for you guys.
And listen, I'm being kind of quiet right now.
Yeah, I know you're being kind of quiet, but oh, just letting people know what they're hearing. Okay, so you can see I went through an 11, and now I'm up into the 15s. Sammy Jason just said you were the bomb.
Well, thank you. Somebody appreciates me.
Oh, Jason, did you hear him? He said, thank you. At least somebody appreciates him. Lord, I'm going to have to get my little violin out and play him a sad tune. Bless his heart. Okay, so I'm going to keep stitching down till I'm coming out of this bead right here. Joy Jefferson says, hey, Sammy, keep up the great work.
Working on my makeup.
Uh-oh, Joy. Sammy might start doing some makeup videos. Uh-oh. He said he's working on his makeup. Lord.
Collaborations.
Oh, Joy, he said maybe y'all could do a collaboration. Oh, heavens. Just don't let him do the hair part of the collaboration, Joy.
I do well with mine.
He does quite well with his. Okay, so you can see now I've stitched through the beads, and I'm coming out of the top hole of that 2-hole cabochon. So I'm going to pull this on through. Joyce's competition. Oh no, I'm scared. Okay, 28. You will now be stepping up, which is kind of confusing in itself, and you'll see why in a minute, to the next hole of the cab. To do this, go through the bottom hole of the cab going in the opposite direction. So I'm going to show you that. So what that means is we call it a step up, but really we're going to be stepping down. So you can see I have my open hole here. My thread is coming out to the left. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the bottom hole from left to right. So when I pull it, that thread, now if I hold it to the side, you'll see where I did the thread, but if I'm in the front, you're not going to see that. So that is our little quote unquote, our step up. So now 29. You will be adding your Zoli Duos a little differently. You will want them to lay out as shown. So they're going to be added completely different. So let me double look at my pattern here. Stitch through the beads as shown. So let me look here. All right, so we might have to do it a little differently just because remember, we're switching out our Paisleys for our Zolis. So we may have to do this just a little bit differently. So I'm going to go ahead and lay them out just like this. Okay, so I'm going to lay them out, not like that at all. I'm going to lay them out like this. Okay, so I'm laying it out just like this. So here's my piece, and I want the Paisleys to lay with the little ends almost touching each other and opposite. So it's going to be a little funky. And like I said, just like I did here, if I don't like the way it looks, we're going to do it. Well, hey, Miss Lois. Miss Lois is jumping in with us today. So my thread is coming out to the right here of this 2-hole cabochon. So I'm going to go through the inner hole of this right one first. Okay, so I'm going through the inner hole of the right one like this, and I'm going to kind of hold it down, and I'm going to pull the thread through. Okay, now I'm going to go through the bottom hole of the same bead, but I'm coming back this direction. So this is kind of funky, so let me show you again. So I was coming out here. I'm going to go through this bead, and I'm coming this way through the bead. Now I'm going to come to this bottom hole, and I'm going to come back. So I'm doing... Okay, I'm not putting a spacer in there yet because I want to see how it's going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this through. Is the Checkmate hole cab the 7mm? Yes, it is. Okay, so I've got that through. So now I'm going to lay this other one up here next to it, and I'm going to come through the bottom hole first. Katarina, do you know a lady? Oh man, I just slid my needle right off. Do you know a designer there in the Czech Republic named Daniela? She works at the bead store, or she teaches at the bead store that is up next to, I'm trying to think of the name of that big church up there. It's where the Christmas market is. I'll look up her name in a minute. Now, so my thread is coming out here at the bottom, so I'm going to go up through the top of that same one, and then through the bottom hole of this. So I'm doing two things at once. I'm going through the top hole, and then I'm going to go through the bottom hole of that 2-hole cab. Then we're going to pull it, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, and let me see. All right, so the first thing I can tell you is I don't like the thread here and here. So I'm going to fix this and this. I don't like the thread here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plop a demi round here. I'm going to plop a 15 here, and then a demi round here. So to do that, I'm just going to take my needle off. I'm going to slide these beads off. And then I'm going to do it again. Okay, so I'm going to pick up a demi. And again, I'm coming out to the right here. So I'm going to go through the top hole first. And then I'm going to go through the bottom hole, coming back in the other direction. Okay, I think I'm going to be much happier with how this is going to look. Okay, now I'm going to pick up a 15. No, Katarina, it's not near the Old Town Square. I'm going to look it up when I get to the end of the video. I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to find out. Okay, so I'm picking up a 15, and then I'm going to go through the bottom hole of the other Paisley. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this down. Yeah, it's a cute little shop that we went to while we were in Prague back in the back at Christmas. It's a tiny, it's a small shop, but we took a class with Daniela, and I had the best time. She was the sweetest lady. And she was so sweet because she had, she taught our group a wonderful project. And she had, you know, she spoke a little English, so she, you know, had to think about how to translate. It was so cute. Okay, so I'm liking this better. And this is what it looks like so far. Okay, now we have this thread here, but that's okay because we're going to hide that. This is why we're going to hide all of that. So you can see I have my demis, and then I've got my 15, and then we got this thread here, and that's okay. That's okay because we're going to try to hide that. It doesn't hide as well on these as it does the Zolis. Okay, once you've got all the beads connected, you will want to exit the top two. Okay, you will see the thread on the Zoli Duos, but in most cases, the thread will be hidden by the Ava bead you are fixing to add. Thread on one demi to the left hole of the V. Oh, wait, what? 32. Let me find 32 here. Huh. Did I totally skip a step? Now, you will want to exit the top two Zoli Duos. You will see the thread on the Zoli Duos, but in most cases, the thread will be hidden by the Ava bead. So I think basically what I was trying to say, Lord help me, was I need to come down through my Zolis to be coming out. This is what we consider the top of a Zoli. We want to be coming out of those holes, so out of one side here. So I'm coming out of this bead. Then it tells me I'm going to thread on a demi round in the left hole of the Ava bead. So we're going to do that next. So we got to get there first. There is a shop in Czech Republic carrying checkmate cabs. How did I not know? I know, right? Okay, so I'm just going to come out of the, I call it the top hole because that's what we call the top of the Paisley. But for us, looking at it this way, we're looking at the bottom. So I'm coming out of this hole here. Okay, so Paul, we got to take you off, baby. Why are you hitting all these eyes? Okay. So, let's see here. So I threaded on a demi and my Ava bead. Then I say thread on 5/15s and go through the bottom of the V of the Ava bead. Thread on 5/15s and go through the hole of the right side of the V. So what we may have to do, we may have to make adjustments here. Okay, we may have to do some adjustments. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, number one, get my chevron bead. So remember, I'm using a chevron instead of an Ava. And I'll slide these to the side here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lay this here. Ooh, I actually think I like this better than the Ava. Look at that. Oh, I think I do. I think I do like it better. I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to see. So I am going to thread on. Let me see where the hole's at here. Yep. And actually, instead of a demi, I think I'm going to do a 15. And then if you look here, you can see the holes are different than what's in an Ava bead. The holes are here and here. So what we're going to do, we're going to pick up a 15 and I'm going to go through this hole in, let's see, so this is going to be the left side. Thank you, Joy. That is awesome. Yes. So, Katarina, it's called Roya, R-O-O-Y-A. Does that sound familiar to you? Okay, so right now, this is what I've got. Okay, and I'm going to pick up, going to start out with 5 15s to see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go through this other hole. Okay. I'm kind of digging the 5. But let me think what I would be digging more. Because, let me show you the sample. Let me find my sample here. Okay, so here's the original sample. If I'm going to make this into a bracelet, at this point, this is one side of it, and then I would stitch to the other thing, stitch to the other side to do the same thing on the other side. When I put this in here, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make another loop here that I can go ahead to have for my bracelet. I'm not really sure, but we're going to see. So I'm going to play with it. So I've got 5 15s. Went through the other hole. Now I'm going to pick up 1 15 and I'm going to go through this bottom hole on the paisley on this side. There we go. Hey, I'm kind of liking it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through here again. So I'm going to go through the 15, the paisley. Oh, no, they really closed the shop. Oh, that makes me so sad. Oh, so sad. That was such a cute store. They had the best bead mats there, Katarina. I bought a ton of those and gave them as gifts when I came home this past year. So I'm going to go through the 15, the paisley. I'm basically going to come down through this again. I am going to reinforce this, but I'm also going to come out of this third 15 down here of that set. So I'm going to go through the 15 and the paisley. And guys, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know that you guys have different things that you could be doing. And I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with me and doing this. So I'm going to come out of the third 15 here of my set of 5. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I think I'm going to make, what am I going to make? What am I going to do here? Because like I said, I'm thinking this is going to become a bracelet. This is going to be the top part of my bracelet here. So I'm trying to decide here what I want to do. I'm not sure yet. Not sure what it's going to be. So what I'm going to do, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. Anybody got any suggestions as to what you think we should do down the sides over here? Regina, yes, the thread has already been stitched through. So she's asking about the tail thread. So I just stitched it through a few beads and tied it off. I did not tie it off. Okay, what about raw with 11s? Yes, I could do right angle weave with 11s. The only thing that worries me is this is going to be heavy on top and it may come down a little bit. So I'm actually wondering, woo! Oh, so sorry, guys. Y'all fail. I knew that was going to happen. Ah! I knew that was going to happen. Oh, y'all, I am so sorry. Let me see. What in the world? Wire Guardian and chain would work. Okay, y'all going to have to hold on for 1 second. I'm going to have to rubber band you to this little thing. I had to buy a new little holder. I got another one coming on the Zon, and if it'll ever get here. Let's see if I can find a rubber band. I'm going to have to rubber band y'all to this thing. Lord help me. Let me find a rubber band. Oh, where is one? Y'all bear with me. I'm looking for a rubber band here. I'm thinking I have the extra chevrons. So I'm kind of liking the idea of running some chevrons down through there. So I think that's what we might do. Sammy, could you do me a huge favor and bring me a rubber band? Sorry, guys. And I don't want you to fall again, so I'm going to rubber band you up. Cute shoes. Oh, thanks. I I bought these last year when I was coming home from Atlanta. I found these at a shoe store there in Commerce, Georgia, and I loved them. The only problem is I want another pair, and now I can't find another pair. Oh, Sammy, I found one. I found us one. Yes, okay. All right, you guys, hang out with me for just a minute here. I'm going to rubber band you. So that way you won't fall again. Yep, feet. You're seeing my feet. How about that? Okay, let's see if we can get this here. Okay, and get us set back up. Okay, hopefully you won't fall again, but if you do, I got you rubber banded. Yes. Okay, so I have, like I said, I have the extra chevrons. So let me divide up what I have left and see if I'm going to love it or I'm not going to love it. Let me see here. Because I'm kind of digging the chevron look. And we could do it a little different. I don't know how many it would take. I'm kind of digging this. Judy says, continue the Paisleys, adding the chevrons in between. Okay, I mean, heck, we're all hanging out. Why not? Let's try and see what we got. So let's see. I don't know if I'm loving that as much as the thought of doing something with the beads in between the chevrons. I think I'm going to go with this. Okay. So what this means is I got to pull this back out, and that's okay. That's okay. Let me go ahead and divide these up. That was crash and burn. Absolutely it was. Lord help me. Let's just hope that this little rubber band holds. I don't know what in the world's going on. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago after we got done on our live that Friday. I was, you know, kind of this, my tripod fell. And, oh, it broke and I had to redo here. Okay, so let me pop this here. So that way I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I don't think I'm going to need each of these. I don't think I'm going to need them all, but we're going to play with them and see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide the needle off, and I'm going to pull. Oh, there we go. I can pull these down. How's the battery life doing? Hopefully we're good so far. It's not shot out and told me yet that we're losing steam, so hopefully we can keep going. Hopefully it'll tell me. It did last week, so hopefully we'll still be good to go. Okay. What has happened to my darlings? Okay, so I'm just going to pull this back out, and you know, just kind of have to take your time with it. It's being ornery, and I'm wondering if I actually, look right there, that's what happened. I skipped a bead right there. Look at that. And that's why it's being ornery. You guys, see, look, this is a Kelly Dale collaboration with all of you today. All of you are helping make the decisions about it. So look, we have all came up with a brand new bracelet pattern today. Look at us. Okay, so what this means is, let's see, Katarina, Amy Pants, one of my colleagues, admitted once he had a polo shirt at hand for video calls and wears pink shorts with bananas on it. I love it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I know where I'm getting some different suggestions of what I could kind of put in between. I don't want to have to make y'all sit and wait while I go downstairs and grab other things. So I'm going to try to use what I already have here on my map. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up, and I think I'm going to do the 11s. Let me look and see what this looks like. Okay, Jason, I'm going to show you guys the difference in the 2-hole cabs and just by the end of the video. Okay, so I am kind of digging, so I'm going to keep going with this. So I'm going to pick up a 15, an 11, a 15, and then the same hole. So we're working down one side, so same hole. And you can just kind of keep laying them out here to see what you got. And if you want these closer together, if you want your chevrons closer together, just don't put as many beads. If you want them further apart, just put more beads in between them. And you can use, like somebody said, a fire polish bead. There's all sorts of beads and things that you can put between them. Like I said, I just don't want you guys to have to sit here and wait while I go downstairs and pick out anything else to go in between them. So yes, Maggie May. This one, you know, you can go back and do it into a pendant. This one though, I said from the beginning, I think I wanted to make this one into a bracelet. So yes, yes, yes. Okay, and so I'm going to add a couple of more. So I think once I get it done, I will be able to kind of measure this out and kind of tell you some measurements. But until I'm able to get it done, it's kind of hard for me to give you some measurements. It looks like, I'll grab my ruler. It kind of looks like, we'll see how many chevrons it takes per inch. Geraldine, yes, we ship all over the world, so be happy to mail you things. So far, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 9 chevrons, and it's about 2.5 inches of beadwork here. If you do less beads, would it turn out too stiff? No, not at all. Not at all. But just know, if you use less beads, like less beads in between here, Katerina, you're going to have to use more chevrons. So I basically divided my strand of chevrons. A strand, you get 30 on a strand. Now, mind you, you always have to account that some of the chevrons, if you're not, like during shipping, they can, like one side of them can break off. And then sometimes when we get them, one side's broke off, and it's not, you know, it's a defect in the bead, but it also could be something that happened in shipping. So, because I personally think I would like it if these were closer together, but we'll see. So this is the center of my bracelet, and it's gonna be a little too big, so I may have to take some off. Well, as of right this second, Deborah, my chevron stock is okay. But after all y'all watch the video today, I don't know how okay it'll be. Okay, so I'm actually going to take off a couple of chevrons here. And then let me measure this again. Okay, so I take off a couple here. Where can you purchase a kit? Joyce, I don't have any kits for these. These are just stock that we have. Right now we are working on a skeleton crew, so don't really have a chance to make up these big kits. But now if you would like to call my store, we'll be happy to put you some materials together. Okay, so I've got this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up 2, 3, 4, 5 15s. And I'm going to come up through the other side of this chevron. I am not going to put any clasp on it just yet. I'm going to get it ready for a clasp, but I'm not going to put a clasp on it just yet because I want to figure out the size that I'm going to have it open there. If you don't want to use chevrons, you can use your Paisleys. You could use a Super Duo in this place. Anything with 2 holes would work really, really well. You can use a single bead in here. It will put these closer. You can use more beads. It will put them further apart. It's completely up to you guys. Like I said, you know, we're creating a whole new piece almost out of this. So it's, you know, just kind of playing to see what we can come up with. So now I'm just going to work up the other side, and I'm going to put the same amount of beads on it. So I'm going to put the 15, the 11, and the 15, or whatever you want to put, and come back up through it. If I had an 8, I would have probably used an 8, and I would have been happier with the 8. But I'm just going to go through, and you can see now what this is looking like. Now what I'm going to do, the thing is, I have only went through these beads one time. Before I go to do the other side, I would do this side again, just not adding any beads, just going through and reinforcing. So that way I'd be good to go. Now, if I do the reinforcement, and if I do it twice or even 3 times, I may end up with thread on this side, not having enough to do the next side to where we would just have to add thread. Oh, Joy's fixing to get off to do her makeup tutorials. Joy, you better do a pretty look today. I tell you, I cannot wait to get my makeup that you're sending me. So excited. Okay, so I'm just working back up. Whoops, can't go up there. Oh, and look, guys, that hole was almost plugged. I did exactly what I told y'all. I didn't check the holes. Okay, so when I get back up to the top here, I put on the 15, and I'm going to go through the bottom hole of the Paisley. And that's what we've got so far. And for me personally, I can tell that that's still going to be too big on me. So I'm going to have to take out some more beads. So I'm going to go ahead to do that. I thought I had the size that I needed, but I'm going to go ahead, and all I'm going to do, if you screw up like I just did, all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a hold of what I need to take off, which I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off 2 more, 3 more maybe. And I'm going to grab a hold of the thread, and I'm going to pull. And that's going to drop all the beads on that one side off. And now all I would have to do is put my beads on, and we're going to stitch to that other side. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to add my little loop here. Now, this is what you can do whatever you want. You know, I'm just kind of adding my beads. So what you're getting today, you are getting basically a look at the design process. This is the part that I normally do before a video, so that way I know how to tell you what to do. So you can see kind of how my thought process works here and how we're coming up with it. And again, all I'm doing now is picking up the 15, the 11, and the 15 and coming through the open hole of the next chevron until I get back to the top. So when I'm back to the top here, I pick up that 15 and I'm going to go through the bottom hole. And look at that. So now I need to come all the way back down because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reinforce, but I'm also going to make a loop here to attach my clasp to. And if you want to attach the clasp at the same time, you can. The only thing is, I don't like to attach my clasp permanently because I never know what clasp is actually going to fit it when I get done with my piece and what I need for the size bracelet. So I'm just going straight back down. I'm not adding any beads. I'm just going straight back down. You want this to be nice and secure, so you definitely want to reinforce it. And I'm going to, I've come down, I'm going to add the loop for my clasp, and I will probably reinforce it one more time just to be safe. Okay, so I'm going to come out of the third bead here of a set of 5, and I'm going to pick up 6 15s. If you want to go ahead and attach your clasp, you could do 3 15s, your clasp, and 3 15s. I'm going to go back through the same bead again to make my little loop. And I'm going to reinforce several times. Well, and too, Rosanna, it's going to be dependent upon the size bracelet that people are going to need. Each person's going to need a little bit of something different. I can wear a size 7 bracelet, but I'm more comfortable with a 7 1/4. So I'm going to need a little bit more chevrons and room on one side of the bracelet than another person might. Okay, and Roberta, you are probably not going to be able to find a bead like a chevron or anything like that at Hobby Lobby. Okay, and so I'm going to stick that there to make that pretty loop. It would surprise me if you were able to find chevrons and Avas there. So you see I've got my loop there. So now I'm going to come up through this side. Good night, Katarina. Enjoy your night with your boys. Thanks for dropping in today. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm coming back up just to reinforce. Now, like I said, for me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reinforce it one more time. Just because you want to make sure this is going to take a good brunt of your piece. So you want to make sure that it's going to be good and secure. Okay. Okay, so Nadine Smith says she watched a video last night where they called for Super 8s. And she wanted to know what a Super 8 is. Honestly, Nadine, I have no idea because I've never heard of a Super 8 at either. Thank you, Sandy. I greatly appreciate that. It's always better to reinforce. There's no such thing as too much reinforcement, okay? Christy, yes, thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying this. And remember, guys, I'm going to explain at the end of the video, I'm doing 2 $20 giveaways, store credit to my store online. I'm going to announce the winner next Monday, but be sure and watch the end of the video, and I'm going to explain it all to you again about how to get entered in to win 2 of the $20 giveaways. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with how much that I had reinforced that loop, so I'm really not going to worry about it again. Well, go ahead and do it. I'm already down here. Good grief. I'm going to fight with myself. Yes, definitely, guys. If you have a local bead shop, if you're lucky enough to have a local bead shop, definitely support your LBS because, man, they are struggling right now. Everybody's struggling, but LBSs, if they don't have an online following, they are definitely struggling. Well, thank you, guys. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I am going to, since this video is running so long, now that you've seen kind of how I've done this part and how we've made the adjustments, I'm going to show you how to get to the other side and where you need to come out on the other side to start. And then we'll wrap up the video and I'll show you tomorrow my finished piece and how it looks. Because I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me do this all over again. Just to reinforce. Okay, so Doreen says, I have some Super 8 Super Duos. They are really, really, really tiny. Did I say tiny? LOL. Oh, Lord. Okay, so I'm back up to the top here. I am loving how the sides are looking on the piece. So happy with this. So glad you guys decided to do that part. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go through the 15 and the Paisley, and then I'm going to step up again. So I'm going to go through the 15 and the bottom hole of the Paisley like I was going to go through and reinforce again. And it's getting really tight using the size 10 bead. Okay, Diane, what do you mean? You say, what is the bead you are using in the middle? Are you talking about here? If you're talking about here, that is a 14 millimeter rivoli. If you're talking about here, I'm using a 15, an 11, and a 15. Sorry, guys, I forgot to take the phone off the hook. Okay, so then I'm going to go through the demi, the bottom hole. I basically have to stitch up all the way up. So I'm going through the demi and the bottom hole. And then I've got to come up through the top hole here. What is the thread? What about the thread on the Paisley? Would some 15s work? Yeah. Oh, no. We ain't going to have to listen to that for a while, are we? Oh, that duh drives me crazy. Oh, hallelujah. It went off. Woohoo. Okay, so I'm stitching all the way to the top. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around to come up to here. So let's see. Let me look to see where we would be at if we were actually following a pattern. Okay, up here. Stitch through the delicate beads to exit the 6th single bead row or bead delicate row from where your thread is exiting. Okay, so basically what we need to do is we need to come out of the opposite delicate up here. So we just stitch around and we want to come up to the opposite. So I'm going to start stitching through so that I can kind of show you where we need to be at. I got to come through that one delicate there. Okay, then I've got to come, then I'm going to come through this one. And now I'm going to start working back this direction, and I'm going to work in some of these 15s to get there. Oh, Victoria G, that's funny. I love that. She says she's going to lock herself in a bedroom or in a room with her laptop while I'm on, that they just won't leave her alone. I'm assuming they are family. It's like me every time. It's like Grayson has a radar. He knows when I'm getting ready to do something. I hear, Mom, I need you to do this, or will you play a game with me? Will you play Legos with me? Lord, he got this new game for his, we don't let him play too many video games, but Sammy found him one. It's called, he loves farming, and it's called the Farming Simulator. And you basically own a farm, and you have to do all these different things on the farm. It's so funny. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I come out here, that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be not perfect. So let me see here. So this is exactly opposite. So I need to come out 2 from there. So 1, 2. Okay, so let me get my little pointer here. So I'm coming out of a single bead. I was coming out here of a single bead row, and I've got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm gotta come out 4 delicate beads. Let me see. So let me get there, and then I'll show you. Lord, you guys, y'all know that if I'm sitting here having to look at it and think about it, y'all are going to have to too. So don't worry. I got you back. I'm going to show you which one to go through. Okay, yes. Okay, so where we need to be in the same spot up here as we were coming out down here to add these paisleys, because we basically have to do this all over again. So if I come exactly opposite, I'm going to be coming out of this bead here on the top. Okay, so exactly opposite from the center is going to be here. So I need to come out of one bead, one single bead delicate row before the center top. So from here, so from where this is connected, I've got to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like my pattern says, 6 single bead delicate rows to get to where I need to be. So now, this is where we're going to need those paisleys again. Sammy, would you go get that? It's the same person again. Okay, so let me see here. Thank you, Sammy. Okay. So I got to lay my beads out. Is that how they were supposed to lay? Yes, I believe it is. Yes, this is how they're supposed to lay. Okay, so this is what we want. So I got to pick up these top holes again. Now remember, I got to do one little thing different. We got to pop that 15 in right there. So I'm going through the top holes here. So like this. Then I'm going to put in a 15. And then I'm going to put on two more. Okay, and look, right there. My hole is plugged. So I've got to see if I can pop through, which I could with my bead here. All right, everybody, I'm fixing to jump off as well. I just wanted to get you started back here to up to the top. Thanks for those of you who are jumping in. Okay, so now we skip one single bead row and go through the next single bead row. And then we would be ready to start it all over again. Look at that, guys. The 15, let's see, you need to put the 15 before the beads, right? Bernadette, the 15 was when I get ready to do this, when I go through here. Here in the center, the only place I put the 15 was right there. So, wow, guys, look at the difference. Look at the difference that makes. Wow, what a difference that makes. So, what I'm going to do now is you would just continue and repeat everything that we did here on this side, and then you would attach your clasp however you would like. So, nope, I didn't miss the 15. Remember, guys, the 15s go on the next step. When I come out here to this hole, I put the 15s. You see here? These are the outer holes. My 15's right there in the middle, and I've got that bad boy there. So I am good to go to continue to do what I need to do. So I'm going to flip the camera around so we can chat about a few things. There we go. Yay. Okay, let me get you in place so we can start back and talk for a minute. Okay, so Jason has asked about the difference in, no, Michelle, the 15, people keep saying I missed the 15. No, I didn't miss the 15. The 15s come on the outer loop. We didn't put the 15. Only place that we added the 15 on the inner was in the very center. So the 15s are on that outer part. Okay, so again, see the 15s are here on the outer. They're not that center part that we did. So Jason has asked the difference in the two-hole cabs. So let me grab you a different type of two-hole cab, a texture, so you can see that real quick. Let me see what I can find. So everybody just hang out for one moment. Okay. All right, so let me get my box here. So two-hole cabs, what do they call these now that have the texture to them? So you can see this two-hole cab, it's a backlit. You can see it has texture on the top. It's not completely rounded and flat. It's got texture. It's the same. They market it exactly the same as a regular two-hole cab. I will tell you, these cabs are actually a little bit bigger than the regular two-hole cabochons. It's got something to do with the top of it, you know, that kind of makes it just a little bit bigger. It depends. I've done some designs with them and not others, but just so you can kind of get an idea, I literally have, gosh, hang on, I'll turn the camera around so you can see. That way you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, wait a minute. Let me see. Jason says he means something else, so let me click on it and see what he means. Let me click on the link. Oh, where's it going to take me? Okay, so Jason, okay, it's just a metallic bead. There's no difference really between that and the other 2-hole cap. It's just the color. That's all. That's the only difference. It's just the color of it. Lord, y'all have sent me down a little rabbit hole now. Now people popped up and said Dog the Bounty Hunter is engaged. Oh Lord, help me. Okay, back to the video. Sorry guys, y'all got me in a little thing. Okay, so candy beads. Yes, I don't carry candy beads. Backlit cabochons are really fun to play with because they have a really fun, no, those have no texture that you can feel. The only ones that have textures that you can feel are like these. And they clearly, like when you look at the picture online, they really, really look bumpy. Like really, really bumpy. So they're cool to work with. They have a really different look. But be careful because they also have an oval 2-hole cap now. So I carry those as well, but I think they're in a different category. So they make the regular 2-hole cabs, and now they make an oval 2-hole cabochon. The ovals are kind of fun to work with, and you could probably get away with using an oval on this project as well. Am I going to do the repeat with the same design on the other side? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm going to do, Linda. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side, and I will show you guys the complete finished bracelet tomorrow because we've been going on this for a little while. Okay, and then Doreen says, have I ever did a bead cap on the end of the twisted tubular herringbone? I personally haven't, but you definitely can. And it's mainly because I don't love caps on it, like metal caps on a lot of things, just because I have a lot of acidity in my skin, and I tend to, like caps and things like that tend to turn on me really quickly. So I try not to, but you definitely can do that. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I do want to tell you and remind you really quickly, if you want to know what I'm going to do in tomorrow and Wednesday's video, go back to the May 1st, 2020 video. You can look right below where I'm at. There's a little like drop down arrow. If you click on that, it gives you the list of what I'm going to be doing today, tomorrow, and the following day, and a list of the materials that you're going to need to do those. I will be back live again with you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, so that you can see that and hopefully be able to hang out with me for a little while. Please do me a favor. If you want to be entered into a brand new contest, it starts today. What you need to do, number 1, please hit that big red subscribe button so you're a subscriber. Number 2 is please give me a thumbs up on the video. And number 3 is comment below this video. If you're watching it live, you can't do it in the chat. You'll have to wait till the video is uploaded. Comment right below me in the comment section letting me know what your favorite project that I've done during this bead therapy sessions, our little quarantine era. Let's figure out what is the most popular one. I would love to see what your thoughts are. So again, just post that down below me. And then on Monday, May the 11th, so the day after Mother's Day, I'm going to announce 2 winners to win a $20 store gift card. You'll be able to use that online and purchase any patterns or beads or anything like that you would like to do. If you want to support me, I would love that, and I would love you for it because this is my main income. You can shop with me at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. And again, thank you guys so much for spending the time with me today. Thanks for helping me figure out a new design, and we'll see what we can come up with tomorrow. Who knows? We may change up tomorrow as well. So hugs to everybody. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you later.